Hey everyone, what's going on? I am not out hiking today. I have something a little bit different to show you, and it's in my garage. So let's check it out. What could it be in this box? All right. $10,000 bees ready to be inserted into a hive. So I don't know if you can hear it or not. Car just drove by. But it's kind of nerve-wracking being in a car with 10,000 bees. Most people pick these up in trucks, but I don't have that luxury. I have to drive them over to my parents' house. I'm not driving right now. And that's where my beehive is going to be. They have a nice garden, a lot of trees, so it's going to be a good spot for them. Anyway, see you when I get there. Alright, so here's the bees' new home. I'm going to replace this box with that one and get them all settled in. So let me tell you a little bit about bees. Most, if not all, the bees in that box are female. The females are the worker bees. The drones, they have one purpose, and that's to impregnate the queen. So where I'm at from my house to my parents is about 2 miles, and what's crazy is even though they're at my parents', these bees could come visit the flowers at my house. They have quite the radius, anywhere up to about 6 miles or so. So they're gonna pollinate this whole neighborhood, which is awesome, and more. So like, not just that tree, not just those flowers, but maybe even some wildflowers up in the mountains. Bees are amazing. But yeah, the more you study about them, the more you fall in love with them. It's crazy. So I'm happy to be doing this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get suited up. Then I have to swap the boxes. Once I've done that, then I can start to insert all these bees. How crazy is that? They're ready to go. So these bees are carniolans. I can never say it right. But there's several other types of bees that are good for these parts, like Italian bees. Some people even do Russian bees. The ones that everyone are afraid of are Africanized bees. Those are the killer bees, but we don't get those this far north. Anyway, time to suit up. Alright, I'm all suited up and pretty much ready to go. But this will give you an idea of what the inside of a hive looks like. So this is the bottom board. So this is screened. I'll remove this white thing in the summer when it gets cooler to help with ventilation. And then these are frames. So pull one out here. This is from another hive, so it already has some comb on it. And hopefully this will be a good jump start for the bees, for the new bees. They won't have to waste as much energy on building new wax. And this I'm going to fill with sugar water, which is what's in that bucket right over there. And they'll eat on that until they really get established. So this is all to just get them jump started and ready to go. So I'm going to put this box on the bottom board now. So here's the sugar water. It's a 2-part sugar, 1 part water, so it's a 2-to-1 ratio. Gives them plenty of sugar to work with and eat. But yeah, let's fill this thing up. It's definitely a sticky mess. So the bees crawl down in these holes here and get the food. Looks like we already have a visitor. Other honeybees like to rob hives. It's an easy target for them. And you'll get honeybees, ants, spiders, wasps. So you really got to keep these things clean and protect them. Alright, so I've removed 2 frames out of the hive. I'm going to dump all the bees in here. They have their food over here. And I'll show you the queen once I get all the bees out. Got my frame sitting here. I'll come back a little later and put those in once the bees start getting acclimated. Also, something that I need to do is everything's so sticky when it comes to beekeeping. So this is an entrance reducer. Right now, if I leave this entrance wide open, it leaves the bees pretty prone to robbers and stuff like that. So I'm going to reduce it down to this notch, really only giving room for 1 or 2 bees at a time, and this helps the bees that are protecting the hive fight off any unwanted visitors. Alright, so I got my gloves on. I'm not a gloveless beekeeper. I haven't reached that level of expertise yet, but it's time to release the bees. So this can is holding some food, and like I mentioned before, this little tab has the queen hanging in a little basket, and I'll show you that later. And you might be wondering, if I pull out that can, are all the bees going to fly away? Some might, but they'll hang around because they are attracted to the scent of the queen. So we have that advantage. So once I put her in the hive, then the bees will find their way in. But we have a lot of visitors coming to hopefully welcome their new neighbors, not to cause any trouble. Already starting to get some bees out of here, but I'm going to remove the queen right here. You'll be able to see her. These bees are actually attending the queen, so you can't actually see her in there. I'll just shake them off. It's hard to do with one hand. Actually, we'll set her off to the side right now and deal with her later. Actually, I want to show you the queen real quick. She's in there, she's alive. These bees are attending to her. They'll be feeding her through the cage. I actually can't release her for another 2 days, so I'll come back Sunday and release her. And the way that I do that is I pull out this cork, which it looks like they've already been working on, and put a marshmallow in there. Then the bees will release her. It's like a time release with the marshmallow. The reason why you do that is this queen is actually new to this hive. So if you let her out too early, they might attack her and kill her. So you got to let them get used to her first, and then we'll let her out. You can kind of see her in that cage there. Alright, now it's time to release the bees. So I don't know if this is the dumbest idea I've ever had or the coolest idea, but I'm going to set my Osmo Action down in the hive and record as I dump the bees in. We'll see how that looks, and we'll see if I can get this thing back.
What?
So I got them dumped in. There's still some over here. They'll make their way in following the scent of the queen. Then I'll put on this inner cover. Got my brush to brush them in so I don't squish any. And we'll be in business. It's actually really fun to do. It's exciting, lots of adrenaline, and yeah, we got a hive. I don't know if you can see this, but they're everywhere. They're even checking out what's going on in this frame. This is some good, valuable food for them. Some easy stuff to get. These might be visitors too, though, but I'll throw those inside. Maybe they'll become new residents of my hive. But this is the inner cover, and I'll actually cover that up with the outer cover, which is that, and that'll help lock them in. Alright, so we did it. We established a hive. Hopefully, you know, the goal is that they prosper here and start making lots of honey. But I really like to keep bees for the environmental aspect of it, you know, because bees are necessary. I don't want to get too preachy here, but without bees, then crops fail, then we fail. So it's kind of crazy how much we rely on pollinators. And honeybees aren't the only pollinators, there's a bunch out there. And so even wasps and hornets, they're good for pollination and eating bugs and stuff, but yeah, those ones are the scary ones. Anyway, let's check out this hive. So you can see them starting to crawl in the little hole there. That's because they can smell the queen's pheromones, and they've pretty much almost all vacated the box as well. And yeah, we have a pretty established hive going so far. I'm gonna come back on Sunday and release the queen. Maybe I'll do a short little video on that, but I do need 2 hands. Last time I thought my queen flew away, but luckily she didn't. Anyway, if you like the beekeeping videos, I can definitely do more. Bees make great content, so if you're here for the bees, subscribe. I also do a bunch of other outdoor stuff if you're new around here, so be sure to subscribe, hit the bell to get notified when I upload, like and comment. Let me know what you think about beekeeping. If you're a beekeeper, tell me, you know, what I did right, what I did wrong. I'm still pretty new at it, so yeah. Anyway, have a great week.